moment with a Sagicor Bank unsecured loan.
The time by Sagicor Bank is...
Tonight in CVM News at 7, bomb scare triggers panic across the island. JLP accuses the PNP over bomb threats. The PNP hits back. Leaders' debate turns up the heat in an already tense election season. Security forces and election day workers cast their ballots. And in sports, Reggae Boys announced 26-man squad, but no Mason Greenwood. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Friday, August 29, 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Curlin Brown. Well, it was a day of panic and disruption across the corporate area as multiple bomb threats forced evacuations at several government agencies and businesses. At least 17 threats were reported, triggering gridlock in other sections of the island, sending police and firefighters into full emergency mode. Akeem Oret tells us more.
Chaotic scenes unfolded in the city and across several parishes as staff and customers at public institutions were forced out of buildings following a wave of bomb threats. Among the locations targeted, 3 branches of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency (PICA), the Ministry of Local Government, the National Housing Trust headquarters, and the New Kingston Business Centre. On Constant Spring Road, traffic slowed to a crawl as firefighters and police cordoned off the area around PICA's head office, conducting their sweep.
There was, of course, coordination between the fire brigade, police and JDF in some instances, as searches were conducted at several premises in an attempt to locate any kind of device or devices that may have been planted.
Commissioner of the Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford, says the affected locations have been cleared and allowed to resume operations.
Nothing was discovered at any of these premises. By midday, we were able to give the all clear for a number of these agencies to resume their daily activities.
Still, with more than a dozen locations affected, he is urging the public to remain on guard.
We urge caution in that we want persons to be vigilant. We're not taking these threats lightly, but at the same time, we don't want to create any kind of panic in the society unnecessarily. And so I think the prudent thing was done to give the all clear. And we are monitoring the situation on the ground. We still have teams out there ready to respond should there be any kind of incident.
The police say investigations are ongoing to track down those responsible for the threats, which they describe as criminal, disruptive and reckless. For now, normalcy has returned, but officials warn the island cannot afford to let its guard down. Akeem Art, CVM News.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party accused the People's National Party of being behind the bomb threats. The opposition fired back and the private sector sounded the alarm. Raymond Morrison picks up the story.
Bomb threats across Kingston and rural Jamaica, an explosive development on the very day that police, soldiers and election day workers cast their ballots. Business operations interrupted, government ministries evacuated, and a shadow cast over the special services vote. In a strongly worded statement, JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang accused elements of the opposition's People's National Party of trying to derail the process. Dr. Chang insisted that law and order will prevail and accused the PNP of attempting to undermine democracy. But the opposition was quick to push back. PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell said the accusations were baseless and outrageous.
And I'm wondering if every accusation by the Labour Party is an admission of guilt. There is no reason that the People's National Party would want to disrupt the voting. We are encouraging persons to come out and vote for a better life. The police will benefit tremendously, and therefore what has been said by Minister Chang, the GenSec of the Labour Party, and the Minister of National Security and the Deputy Prime Minister is false. And he ought not to make such false statement. It is unbecoming of him and the organization that he represents.
Campbell then went further and turned the tables on the JLP, making a direct appeal to voters.
The people are tired of this sort of government, and we really need to move forward as a country. So come Wednesday, I'm encouraging the entire population to put the X beside the head so we can return decency to our governance structure in this country.
The private sector has also entered the fray. The JMEA, JCC, and PSOJ issued a strong joint statement condemning the threats, warning against fear and intimidation, and calling on Jamaicans to protect democracy with their vote. PSOJ President Mitrisiaga said, quote, "The right to vote is one of the most powerful tools we have as citizens. We must honor our forefathers' legacy by ensuring every Jamaican can vote without fear," end quote. Businesses lost productivity today, but private sector leaders insist that Jamaica cannot turn back to the violent days of the past. With voter turnout falling to just 37% in the last general election, they warn that every citizen must shoulder their responsibility to cast their ballot this September 3. Bomb hoax or not, the message from both sides of the political divide and from the private sector is clear. Jamaica's democracy must be defended. And the title of its next chapter. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
In other news, a licensed firearm holder in Clarendon is dead following a domestic dispute Thursday evening. He has been identified as 56-year-old Dean Melville, an architect of Mimosa Drive, Glencoe Meadows in Spalding, Clarendon. Reports are Melville was allegedly shot inside his house on August 28. It was reported sometime after 9, Melville's wife went home, and while her husband was sleeping, she reportedly went through his phone. She reportedly took his firearm from its storage before returning the cell phone. It's reported her husband woke and grabbed the firearm, which was still in her hand. There was an explosion, and Mr. Melville reportedly sustained a fatal injury. He was transported to the Percy Junior Hospital by his wife, where he was pronounced dead. And 36-year-old Dwight Atkinson, otherwise known as 14, of Barbary Hill, Lucy, Hanover, has been charged with assault at common law and possession of a prohibited weapon following an incident in his community on Saturday, August 23. The Lucy police reported that around 2:30 p.m. Atkinson was involved in an altercation regarding his motorcycle. He allegedly loaned the motorcycle to the complainant. However, it was reportedly returned damaged. Now, a dispute escalated and Atkinson allegedly pulled his firearm and chased the complainant while uttering threatening words. Atkinson was later reported and apprehended by the police and charged. His court date is being finalized. There are mixed reactions as to who came out on top in Thursday's heated leaders debate, which brought the 3-night political debate series to a close. Both party leaders traded verbal blows throughout this 90-minute showdown, each claiming the edge as the election nears an end. Well, nears, rather. Amoy Harriott has that recap.
In the good spirit of the debates, we now invite Dr. Holness and Mr. Golding to shake hands.
An awkward but humorous ending to an otherwise tense 90 minutes. Earlier, Jamaica Labour Party leader Dr. Andrew Holness and People's National Party President Mark Golding exchanged blows in the leaders' debate, the last of 3 political showdowns staged by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Now, things got heated as the 2 men sparred over several issues ranging from corruption to the state of the economy, income tax relief for Jamaicans, crime, as well as the question of dual citizenship. The matter of tax relief opened the night's exchanges, and much like the topics that followed, it was met with firm disagreement on both sides.
So the debt to GDP ratio, which we inherited at 147% of GDP at the beginning of 2012, is now, in this fiscal year, projected to achieve the target of 60% of GDP. Once that happens, we no longer have to reduce debt as a priority. We just have to maintain that debt profile. That will release resources of 2.5% to 3% of GDP.
You know, there is a song which says, when the rum tells you you're a big dancer. I don't know what the leader of the opposition was drinking. Firstly, the debt to GDP for this fiscal year is not projected to be 60%. It is projected to be 65% thereabouts.
Mr. Holness's data is not current. The Fiscal Commissioner issued a release, I think it was today actually, indicating that with the National System of Accounts being updated, GDP has been adjusted and we're now at 62% of GDP. That's what the debt is at the end of March this year.
Attention shifted to Mr. Golding's dual citizenship, which once again came under scrutiny.
First of all, I think the Prime Minister repeated innuendo or direct attack which has been leveled by his party on my nationality. And, you know, I just wanted to just make it absolutely clear that I am indeed born here as a Jamaican. Here is my birth certificate, and it shows I was born at the University Hospital on July 19th, 1965, and it's right here. I hope your cabinet can pick it up. And I have a copy for you, Prime Minister.
Still, it was the personal finances of both men that ultimately took center stage.
He, the top-of-the-Irish lawyer, has made billions of this, yet he does not disclose this in his integrity report. In fact, he doesn't even have a house in Jamaica. How can we believe you? And do you have assets in overseas companies for which you have not disclosed?
You're a hypocrite, Andrew Holness, to be accusing me of anything in relation to FinSAC when you have been a direct beneficiary of the losses of somebody who was FinSAC, who lost their home because of FinSAC.
Again, Mr. You go to attacking my wife when you, according to the Contractor General's report, benefited from a sweetheart deal that was irregular. You benefited off the backs of the Jamaican people in creating your wealth.
Now, as the campaign season heads into its final stretch, it's left to be seen whether Thursday's fiery debate will shift voter sentiment. Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
Now, the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, is firing back at opposition leader Mark Golding, accusing him of making a series of false claims during the national debate. The governing Jamaica Labour Party says Mark Golding has developed a chronic habit of making what it calls bold statements that are misleading, completely false, or both. Among the claims the JLP says are untrue are that the Prime Minister has 28 bank accounts and he withdrew money from Ponzi schemes before their collapse. According to JLP campaign spokesperson Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Golding's remarks are hypocritical and deceptive.
Not only did Mr. Golding make false statements without any regard for the truth, but he also displayed truly hypocritical conduct when he described salary increases as unconscionable, knowing fully well that he had accepted his own increase while the Prime Minister had declined. So to this day, having accepted the increase, Mr. Golding remains the highest paid politician in this country, yet he takes the stance which he did last night. Mr. Golding also sought to drag the Prime Minister's name through the mud for good faith investments in the same way undertaken by many Jamaicans, yet he was stumped when reminded that the PNP itself had already admitted to receiving $1 million United States dollars from Olint.
Please join us for more CVM News at 7 in just a moment.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
It is going to take divine intervention.
Faith without works is dead. Divine intervention without action won't make me feel safer. Being tough on crime will. This year, murders are down another 43%. That's over 300 fewer lives lost than this time last year. That wasn't an accident, it was action. I need warriors against crime, not guardians of it. Ending gang violence, illegal guns off the street, more judges and a paperless court system, and long-term systematic change. That's real justice. That's the safer Jamaica I want to live in. I don't want to turn back now.
Choose results you can count on. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
We a bucket together when everybody out. Fried chicken with a pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flames. When we a bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share is finger licking good. Bucket together, come make we bucket together.
This feature was brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Follow along and you'll see what I do on a Saturday. I like to start Saturdays and Sunday in church. I grew up in the church, the New Testament church. Started off my journey at the Grey Ground New Testament church where I was christened. Was baptized at Hillside New Testament church. So for my family, church is very important. From very early growing up in Grey Ground in a little one-bedroom made from wattle daub, board and zinc, my family emphasized two things that were important. One, going to church, honoring God, and two, getting a good education or skills training. So we grew up in this house at the bottom here, and then my father and his brothers constructed this house. It was in orange because grandma is a serious PNP or was a serious PNP. So prior to 2020, grandma said, was always voting for John Jr. and Peter Bunty, but when I was going to run in 2020, she said, my granddaughter, I have to vote for you, but every day leading to the election, she would say, I think I'm going to go and make a mistake because I always vote beside the head. And I said, Grandma, don't look for no head or any bell. Just look for Crawford because you're Carmen Crawford. So now we're all changed and we're rushing quickly to the constituency office. My team is there, it's back to school time as well, so we can't neglect the governance. So, we would have done some submissions before Parliament was officially dissolved. So I have to stop by the constituency office now to just sign off on some persons who applied for book grants. So the vouchers are ready. So I have my team, they came in today for 2 hours so that we can call the parents for them to come in on Monday. On September 3rd, when the last ballot is counted, not only are we going to win Manchester Central, but look out for a 2,000 plus margin. Our canvas is looking good, the support is there, our organization is tight, our machinery is oil and ready.
This feature was brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back. Glad you stayed with us. Well, the general election debate stirred fiery exchanges between candidates, leaving the chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission, Brian Schmidt, proud of the work his team has done despite the challenges. He offered an apology to the deaf community that felt excluded from the first debate. Here's Zoe Grant with more.
It was a series of debates that left Jamaicans both informed and at times divided, with some praising the clarity on policies, while others felt the exchanges between both party leaders only created a larger divide. However, for the Jamaica Debates Commission, pulling it all together was nothing short of a test of resilience. Brian Schmidt says, beyond the tensions on stage, what mattered most was giving the public an opportunity to see those seeking political office side by side, unfiltered, and to compare them for themselves.
There are not many countries in the world where the public, the voting public, or the populace is able to see those running for political office side by side and can compare them. So this is a very, very unique thing that we have here, and it has become a part of our democratic institution, and we're very, very proud to have been integral and a huge part of that.
He also revealed that the debate sparked unprecedented online engagement with social media buzzing and Jamaicans submitting some of the most thought-provoking questions that the Commission has ever seen.
Also, the quality of questions has been amazing. We've really gotten some solid questions. So we're very happy for that, because the more people are engaged in the process, it's better for us and better for the preservation of our democracy.
But alongside the praise came criticism. The deaf community expressed heartbreak and frustration at being excluded from the very first debate, a matter Schmidt admitted was an unfortunate mishap.
The reason we did not have sign language for the first debate is that we came to an agreement with a provider, and then they backed out at the very, very last minute and left us on the altar, so to speak, right? But we had to proceed. We had to proceed with the debates. And then what we've done is we've made different arrangements, and as you'll see that even tonight we made another arrangement for the debates, because what is also very important is that international standard for interpretation is that you're supposed to have two sign language interpreters, which you see that we did tonight.
While he regrets the initial setback, Schmidt says corrective steps were taken, pointing to YouTube, where members of the community could use closed captions and ensuring 2 interpreters were present for the final showdown.
I'm really sorry that they were disenfranchised, particularly on Saturday night. But that was beyond our control. However, the debates are available on YouTube, right? So what they can do is they can click on the video of YouTube, go in the top right-hand corner, and click CC, so they can get closed captioning. Now, while it may not be perfect, it will at least give them a better experience, particularly of the debate on Saturday.
Zor Grant reporting for CVM News.
Still on debate matters, Jamaica has slipped 2 places on the World Press Freedom Index. Press freedom was a point of contention in Thursday's leadership debate as both parties traded accusations over their treatment of journalists. Carla Ramdeen picks up that story.
Jamaica has slipped 2 places on the World Press Freedom Index, now ranking 26th out of 180 countries. In the leadership debate Thursday, the issue of press freedom was raised, citing the recent breach with the journalists' names being leaked, after reported objections by both parties in relation to the pool of questioners and moderators. Prime Minister Andrew Holness defended his party, insisting that the Jamaica Labour Party does not undermine press freedom, while pointing out that the objections to journalists were made by the People's National Party.
Historically, it is the PNP that has been vociferous, including attacking a particular radio station. I personally have stayed away from any negative commentary about any journalists. Journalists are important, and I support strong journalism.
But PNP President Mark Golding rejected that claim, noting that the JLP objected to 4 journalists, while the PNP objected to 3.
And the truth is that some journalists in the country are not as independent as others, are not as professional as others, and it is quite legitimate to criticize persons who you don't feel are living up to the standards of their profession.
While press freedom is one concern, there's another one on the rise: journalists being included in the special service voting process. President of the Press Association of Jamaica, PAJ, Dashan Hendrick, says it is something he has considered.
I raised it with a previous PAJ president, and we discussed it. We never reached anywhere with it. I did some research, really, and it showed me that in countries like Israel, South Korea, South Africa, they get a public holiday for voting, and everybody votes in that time. But scouring the globe, scouring the internet, I don't know if I was exhausted, I found absolutely no country in the world in which journalists vote outside of on the designated day. It's something that we can consider, but it will be something unprecedented based on the result, the research that I've seen so far. It's nothing about to secure us for the day. It's nothing about press freedom or anything. It's just to say the journalists are working on this day. Could we have this privilege? I mean, any other group could argue that they are working on that day as well and they need the time to vote. So that is why I said I really don't know if it will go anywhere, but it's something we can look to try and see if a resolution can be found there if journalists desire that they want to.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
From east to west, police, soldiers and election day workers turned out to the polls for the special services vote. The exercise gave them the chance to cast their ballots before the rest of the country on September 3. Raymond Morrison has been tracking the voter traffic for this report.
The inked fingers tell the story. Ahead of the general election, Jamaica's security forces and election day workers are having their say. At the Freeport police station in Montego Bay, the process has been smooth and the turnout impressive.
I saw a comment recently which would indicate that members of the Jamaica Constabulary don't normally go out to exercise their democratic and constitutional right. So it is good to see that they are coming out. I hope that will continue. The report that I have gotten from the EOJ officer who is in charge of this particular location reflects that things are going smoothly. And I wouldn't want to refer to it as an issue, but what may actually slow down the voting process is that some of the members of the JCF are without their IDs. And so they have to go through the required process of being vetted through the Black Book and also taking the oath and completing the relevant documentation.
But the PNP says the traffic of voters has been mixed throughout the day, partly because some officers are still on duty.
The steady flow, we had a little pause, and then I suppose because the officers are on duty, so it sort of fluctuates. But it's going well.
In the eastern parish of St. Thomas, voting took place at Yallis High School and the Morant Bay Police Station. Officers there also lined up to dip their fingers and mark their ballots. These men and women vote early because they will be on duty come September 3, securing the polls and ensuring the general election runs smoothly. And while the ballots are cast Friday, they will remain under lock and key until next Wednesday, when they will be counted alongside the general vote. From Freeport to Morant Bay, the special services vote is setting the pace and the political temperature as Jamaica marches toward Decision 2025. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the retrofitting and servicing of buses under the National Rural School Bus Program have been completed, with the first phase of the rollout set for September 8. Here's Carla Ramdeen with more.
Minister of Transport Darrell Vaz has announced that the retrofitting and servicing of buses for the National Rural School Bus Program have been completed.
We have tested all 122 routes and retrofitted for Jamaica's safety needs. Doors moved to the left side from the right side, and of course, all brand new tires replaced and full servicing completed.
He added phase 1 of the rollout will begin on September 8. 258 schools island-wide will benefit.
With 55 of the 122 routes being launched across all parishes, served by 60 of the first 110 buses. The remaining 40 buses will be introduced gradually between September and November, with an additional 10 buses held in reserve to guarantee continuity of service.
Vaz says among the beneficiaries are special needs institutions, as 12 buses will be assigned in the first phase and the remaining 2 buses will be added in phase 2.
With more schools for children with special needs to follow. This ensures that no child, regardless of ability or circumstance, is left behind.
He described the program as transformational. He says it is a solution for parents in rural areas who have faced uncertainty with safe and affordable transportation.
Tragically, between 2022 and 2025, 73 children lost their lives in road crashes, including 12 already this year. They are equipped with GPS tracking accessible to parents, speed limiters, onboard surveillance cameras, geofencing, and a cashless payment system. This means that for the first time, parents will be able to monitor their children's movement to and from school, providing peace of mind and an extra layer of security.
Baz was speaking during Wednesday's blessing ceremony for the National School Bus Program at Jamaica House. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Still lots more in store after this.
When we are bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share is finger licking good.
The Time by KFC is.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Yeah, every month my parent and still no one nothing, bro.
Yeah, that's why I rate the PNP plan, you know.
Oh, the plan to remove the land pass from the low-income house then?
Yeah, man, the same plan that my G. House price are drop, both are ground.
Yo, I mean, many cheap are the serious, you know.
Oh, yeah, so my general, 50,000 new low-income houses in the first term.
But my work informal, bro. I don't feel that you work for me.
General, them set the plan just for you. When they are taxi driver or barber like yourself, 6 months rent will qualify you for your mortgage.
Yeah,
man.
That big.
Yeah, man. Plus young people are trying to get a house for the first time. First time own owners, 45 and under. I will get 500,000 grand towards the housing deposit. How much you can use it to walk in a house?
45. That means you can't own no house now.
What on there? Brown money, how much?
What are we there for? Time home for one, something for yourself now.
True that.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party. All roads lead to PAN 2025. One pan a nut at Jamaica College in Kingston on August 31. Come enjoy the baddest pan chicken from across the island. Enjoy live performances by Kevin Downswell, Leela Ike, Wade Marshall, Giomar Mitchell, and Ashley. Hosted by yours truly, the Queen Diva, Miss Kitty, Justin Duffy Shepherd, and Dandra. Bringing good vibes all day. Admission free. Gates open at 12 noon. Bring your whole family. Who will be crowned the 2025 Pan, Pork, and Chicken Champion? Hello. See you on August 31 at Jamaica College.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Trans-Jam highways. The T-Tag system reduces the amount of cash handled at our toll plazas and makes it safer for our staff and motorists at the toll booths. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted by 50% down to $1,250, including a $500 toll credit from now on till September 5th.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The PNP has a history of taxing people, and that will never change. Already the PNP has planned to tax you, our Jamaican people, Damian Crawford and Dayton Campbell. They admitted this. This was their big plan all along. This is what the PNP have planned for you. The Jamaica Labour Party has cut more taxes and put more money in your spending pocket. On election day, vote for the government of no new taxes. Put your ex beside the bed.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back. So CVM News has been asking our viewers across our digital platforms, who do you think would make a better Minister of Sports based on the current Andrew Holness cabinet and the Mark Golding shadow cabinet? Well, the choice was between Olivia Babsy-Grange and Wayville Hines. Across all platforms, Olivia Grange emerged as the overwhelming favourite over opposition Shadow Minister Wayville Hines. On Instagram, Olivia Grange stretched her lead with 74% to Wayville's 26%. On Facebook, Hines secured 36%, while Grange received 63%. On YouTube, Grange dominated with 70% compared to Hines's 30%. On X, formerly Twitter, Olivia Grange led with 73%, as Hines received 27%. Now, when the numbers were tallied, the overall results showed Olivia Grange with 70% and Wavell Hines with 28%. Let's now go to social media for reactions to our digital polls.
So we asked our social media users, based on the current Andrew Holness cabinet and the Mark Golden Shadow cabinet, who do you believe would make a better Minister of Sport? The choice was between Olivia Babsy Grange and Wavell Hines. The responses have been coming in strong. Let's take a look. At its_dancer writes, Babsy is the best sports minister Jamaica ever see. At Tim Akambo 636 says, Babsy has done a lot for the entertainment industry, but sometimes the change is good. At Darian Noble comments, Grange is 79 years old. When does she plan to retire? At Simone Unbreakable replies, does someone's participation in cricket make them eligible to become the Minister of Sport? At Christopher McCarthy adds, if the Ministry of Sports is a standalone ministry, then Wavell would be the better choice. At Vicky Grahal comments, our athletes are leaving for better salaries. Babsy can retire now. At Philip Edwards writes, Olivia Grange for sure. Hines was a failure in every aspect of cricket he entered. Nothing has changed with him. And that's what's happening online. Stay tuned on our social media platforms as we dive into what the public thinks about who would be the best minister ahead of the 2025 elections. That's CVM TV on X and CVM_television on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Michael Paul.
Whether it's her belief that everything is so possible, or her newly penned book with that very name, or her international clients like the NFL and the NAACP, Sophia Gibson is trailblazing a path in marketing from pain. This Jamaican-born is no stranger to adversity, but used advocacy and marketing to bring light, a light that led to her recent glow and award in Georgia.
Sophie Gibson founded Vivo 360 out of necessity and turned it into an award-winning marketing powerhouse rooted in inclusion. From the NAACP Image Awards to the NFL, Vivo's 360 campaigns have snagged the Amy and Trailblazer Awards, landing it in the top 0.3% of U.S. ad firms owned by Black women.
So I literally learned to code do HTML in like less than 2 weeks because we still had stuff to do and there were not hiring freeze. So I think just being always open-minded, just loving to learn. And so when I saw that a large advertising agency had coming to help this brand I was working with, they were looking towards the IT department. And it's like, no, this is a marketing solution to help with the web. This is not about IT. IT is a totally different scenario. I understood it back in 2001. So because I understood, coding, and then I saw there was a need because people who worked at brands and marketing were afraid. They looked at it as technology. And so I just looked at it as websites was just another means, another vehicle in which to express your brand.
Recently honored by Georgia's creative community, Gibson stays grounded in her Jamaican heritage, Kingston, St. Mary, and Westmoreland, and in the lessons from her grandmother's grave, shielding her family as a matriarch.